Alex, and thanks to all our candidates that I know are working hard right up and down this country. Good afternoon, everybody. We have 17 days to go until the polling stations open. We are right at the business end of the campaign for, I think, the most important general election in a quarter of a century. The choices that we make, the votes that we cast, will have a profound influence on the very nature and makeup of this country. And from tomorrow, postal votes will be landing on doormats across the majority of Scotland. Perhaps up to a quarter of all votes in this election will be cast by post. So decisions are being made now which will have consequences for decades to come. Now I've always said that at this election, in fact at any election, the only wasted vote is a vote that you don't believe in. So I say up front to any and all who listen that I want people to vote at this election for the party that they believe in, to vote for the policies that they agree with, to vote for the Prime Minister that they want, and to vote for the best MP for their seat. So I ask people to cast a positive vote, and there is no vote more positive than a vote for the Scottish Conservatives, because we've entered this election campaign with two clear messages. Let's keep the economic recovery growing, and let's build on September's referendum result, moving the whole country forward together. So voters at this election face a clear and resounding choice. Do we keep on track with our plan and say no thanks to the Nationalists, or do we go backwards with Labour and the SNP? The party that wants to break up the country, lording it over the party that would bankrupt our country. Now, it's easy to kind of dismiss the idea of this deal or to look in the other direction, but it couldn't be more serious. And it is vital that we start spelling out for people exactly what is at stake. Because since the turn of the year, I've been warning about this pact between the SNP and Labour, of the demands of a strident nationalist party and what they would wring from a weak Labour one. And I said in January that Ed Miliband and Nicola Sturgeon were halfway down the aisle. We're now in April, and they're at the altar and they're preparing to exchange rings. Ed Miliband was asked 4 times on Friday. He was asked 4 times whether he would rule out a deal, and he declined. On Saturday, Alex Salmond took to the telly and taunted him, saying that he would be foolish not to take one. So we need to confront what such a deal would mean. And there is a genuine possibility that Britain and Scotland could wake up on May the 8th in a nightmare scenario. Ed Miliband's Labour Party, with the largest number of seats, with a crowd of SNP MPs desperate to take him over the line. And I'm asking people, in this room and out with, to think about what happens then. If this deal goes ahead, what does that mean for you? What does that mean for your family? What does it mean for our country? Because first of all, Prime Minister Miliband would immediately undo all the hard work of the last 5 years. Having halved the deficit, he'd turn the taps back on and wash all of that progress away. The tax breaks that have helped people and businesses find a way back from recession, they would be gone. The steady hand on the tiller, which has kept interest rates low and calmed the markets, that would be gone too. And the confidence that Britain is on its way back and has put boom and bust behind it, also gone. But the worst thing would be that the Labour government, with Alex Salmond and Nicola Sturgeon, would be wrestling for control of the steering wheel, every day looking for reasons and excuses to cause instability. Every day demanding more borrowing, more spending, trying to weaken our defences, threatening even to stop our soldiers' wages. And every day doing so in order to erode further our United Kingdom, because that is the price of SNP support. Everything the SNP does, everything, is done to bring Scotland closer to separation. Every inflated oil forecast, every made-up piece of EU legal advice, every deal, every negotiation, every move that they make is designed to bring Britain's breakup one step closer. And holding a weak Labour government to ransom is no different. So the reality of what Scotland's facing is beginning to sink in. And of course the Labour Party's trying to deny it. Ed Miliband has to, while he's got 41 MPs in Scotland fighting for their lives. But we know what's going on. And now one of his key allies, Angela Eagle, has confirmed it. The moment that those Scottish Labour MPs are gone, Ed Miliband will be straight on the phone to Nicola Sturgeon asking for her opening bid. And you know, I stood in the trenches last year with a number of Labour MPs and MSPs who fought hard to keep our country together because they believed it was worth fighting for. And I cannot imagine the betrayal that they feel from their own leadership to have the referendum result undermined, or perhaps even traded away in the courtship dance that we're witnessing now. And while I'm not surprised at all the alarms that are being sounded south of the border at the thought of such an unholy alliance, it's not the fears of my southern colleagues that are paramount in my mind right now. My real concerns are for people here in Scotland, for the quiet majority who voted no to independence last year, who want a sensible, straightforward government delivering some much needed security, but who are looking on at this election campaign and wondering what on earth is happening, who are confused at the prospect of a party intent on breaking up our United Kingdom government, holding power over it, and who are astonished that it is the Labour Party, that might put them there. I've met countless people on the campaign trail in the last couple of weeks. And I've been stopped in supermarkets, on escalators and shopping centres and street stalls up and down the country. And people have been telling me that they thought the constitutional battle had been settled last year when the referendum result came in. And they assumed quite rightly that we shouldn't have to constantly refight the battles of the past, that we could put all of the division behind us, that we could move forward together. Well, I'm sorry to say to these people that I've met, and countless more besides, that this isn't settled. The nationalists who said that it was once in a generation have not honoured that commitment. They've rather strengthened the resolve to push for breakup. And the fact is that a Labour Party that many people put their trust in, has failed to respond to that challenge. They failed to remain upstanding for a union which Scotland voted for last year. And they failed to answer the concerns of ordinary Scottish families who just want a party to be on their side. And I look at the hollowed out shell of Scottish Labour, and I don't even know what it stands for anymore. And I don't think that it knows itself either. And that is what's most worrying. Because the SNP do know what they're about. They want independence, and they are prepared to use Ed Miliband to get it. They'll prop him up in power, they'll wait for the backlash in England, and then they'll stir division and resentment and anger south of the border in the hope of driving us ever further apart. And of course, like Ed Miliband, Nicola Sturgeon denies this too. She says she wants to be a constructive force to the UK state that she seeks to destroy. Well, Nicola is an accomplished politician. She knows the best way to win in 2 weeks' time is to de-risk the SNP. That's why she's touring London's TV studios, pledging to be a positive partner to people all across the UK. Surely it's time that all of us, Labour included, woke up and realised that the SNP's first and last priority will always be separation. If Nicola Sturgeon really wants to prove her constructive credentials, there is a test that she has to meet, and it is to accept, right now, before the election, that the United Kingdom is staying together for the next generation in line with her own pledge and in line with the decision made by the people of Scotland last year. Otherwise, how can people all across the UK possibly be asked to believe a leader who claims to have the best interests at heart of a country that she still wants to break up? I don't want any of this for my country, and I'm convinced that it's not what ordinary people in Scotland want either. So where Labour has failed, I stand here resolute. We, the Scottish Conservative and Unionist Party, must shoulder a greater responsibility. We must now stand on behalf of those families today, Scottish and British, who want to see our country work for them, not split asunder. We don't shy from our time in government, we promote it. We don't quail from describing ourselves as unionist, we are proud of it. We, the Scottish Conservatives will seek to give a voice to Scotland's silent majority. We will seek to be the voice of those who want Scotland to remain anchored within the UK, to be the voice of people who just want a strong economy to help them get on with their lives, and be the voice of people who are afraid about their country's future and want some basic leadership from those people in charge. People want a party that tells it straight, and I promise so to do. So when it comes to a deal with the SNP, I say today what I said in September: no thanks. And I know what people will be asking. They'll be asking, can the Scottish Conservatives be that party which represents the quiet majority in Scotland? And my answer is an unequivocal yes. Because already we're the party that stands for majority opinion in Scotland on capping welfare. We're the party which, like most Scots, wants to bear down on the cost of government so we can help working families get a square deal. We're the party that stands with Scots who want a fairer, more prosperous country, backing firms that pay a living wage, demanding more apprenticeships, and nurturing an economy that creates jobs. We're the party with positive answers for our country's future, and we will bring in a stronger Scottish Parliament with genuine powers over tax and spend, a deal that will bring stability and fairness to our United Kingdom. It is the right plan, it is the unionist plan, and it is a plan which will expose the nationalists and their fairy tale economics for the small-minded, short-termist, divisive sect that they are. But the question is, can we do this? You're damned right we can do this. We can, we must, and we will. Because this is a party that is cowed no more. We are not apologising. The sackcloth and the ashes have gone. We are proud of our achievements in government, and we are ready to serve again. So to people in Scotland thinking about how to vote today, don't be cowed either. Don't be overwhelmed, and don't lose faith. There is a positive alternative to the SNP, and we are here ready to fight for you. We are a party whose time has come, a party ready to advance the cause of economic prosperity and our country's security. We are the Scottish Conservative and Unionist Party, and I say to you today, everyone in this room and everybody in a campaign team that's out fighting across the whole of Scotland, do not be daunted by the battles which lie ahead, and know that past conflict has instilled in us a renewed determination. Scotland's quiet majority had their say last year, and we will honour their decision. We will build on it, and we'll move our country forward together, irrespective of the obstacles that are put in our path. We have the leadership, we have the grit, and we have the confidence to take on this fight. So, go out from here today. Have confidence in our future, have confidence in our country, and do some work to help us get out there and win. Thank you very much.